guys score between 6 and 9 points. So who do you guard? Because it doesn't matter. One day it's going to be, as it was yesterday, Bayran. Then it's going to be Iverson. Then it'll be San Miguel, who scored 20 points in the last ACB game. Yesterday's job was to play defense. They just buy into what Duke Videoretta wants them to do. And that's just play team basketball. They share it as well as anybody else. And they're the best defensive team in the Basketball Champions League in terms of points allowed. They're just a tough nut to crack.
Well, they really did play suffocating defense. It was a tough game against Antwerp, though. Make no mistake about it. They trailed early, 20-12, into the first quarter, and Antwerp still had their chances in the second half. But you really felt like Tenerife got on top. There was not going to be any catching them. And in the end, they ended up opening up that lead, which probably wasn't really representative of how difficult that game had been for them.
Yeah, just relentless, aren't they? They're a relentless machine that just does what it does. They're a great team to support because you know they're giving you 100% every moment.
Virtus Bologna, this is a team that certainly had designed this trophy from the very beginning of the season. They won 7 consecutive games. Everything was going well. Then they lost a couple of tough ones. And then they started having some struggles. Ended up going with a coaching change, replacing Sakupani with Simon Kortovic. And the team has continued to play well enough in the basketball championship. Really one of the more convincing performances, maybe the most convincing performance for them in this competition this season was in the semifinal win over Grosso Bamberg.
I would 100% agree with you. And Coach Djordjevic just put a game plan on the floor that was just perfection. And then your players have got to execute it. And they were right. Defensively, they were as good. That was as good as a performance as you could put on the floor. Shutting down the league MVP's team and keeping them to 50 points. Phenomenal performance.
I think they're going to have a little bit harder time tonight. They will play against the Iberostar Tenerife team that's got the experience. They've been here, but this Virtus team realizes this is its big moment this season. This is their opportunity to get another trophy in that amazing trophy cabinet that they've got back in Bologna, where they've got, what, 15 Liga A titles, and EuroLeague crowns of 1998, 2001, and Euro Challenge 2009. It is a club that, when it plays in Europe, expects to win. The referees for today's game, Johan Rosso in the middle from France, Martin Moskis from Latvia on the left, and Georgios Portsidis from Greece on the right. There's Delay, who really was over the moon that he found himself in Tenerife this season. He was shown last season. Before that, he had played with Houston in Belgium. It's really been a great addition to this team. San Miguel, Lucas Steiger from Germany, Colton Iverson, Nicholas Brasino, Argentina, and Tim Abromaitis from the United States. Again, one of those holdovers along with San Miguel.
Well, that's an interesting start with Steiger for Coach Videoretta. And then, is there a little injury issue there? Because Devan White has started at various points in the season. Roddy started yesterday. Or is it Videoretta saying this is the right lineup for this game? And Steiger's extra strength and size could be a factor defensively. That's why it may have gone that way. Because Punter's strong in the backcourt. Maybe he wants to put the pressure on that starting lineup.
So punter Kelvin Martin, we haven't spoken much about him, but he's a handful. You don't want to play against him. Yannick Morea, Tony Taylor, all in that starting five for Sasa Djordjevic.
It's a very athletic lineup. I mean, Djordjevic, if he's going to put his defense on the floor the way he needs that athleticism. Puts a lot of pressure on Punter, but that's the pressure he seems to really relish, because he definitely rose to that challenge yesterday, because offensively, he really did spark the team, and they're all trying to get their hands on that trophy.
Well, you are looking live inside the Antwerp Sports Palace here in Belgium. Wonderful city that's hosted the third Basketball Champions League Final Four, and you need to put this place on your bucket list of things to do. You need to get to Antwerp. This place is amazing. We've had a great time.
And we've had a great time.
Not enough.
They're great people, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing that's really made it. Some nice places, but we've been made feel so welcome every single place we've gone.
So Bayron obviously was dealing with serious injury and wasn't able to play a couple of years ago when they won the title. But nevertheless was a part of that championship winning team. He wants to come out and have a big game tonight. Kevin Punter, of course, was the big gun last year, or one of the big guns for Ike when they won the title. And this is exactly what they had in mind when they made it back to this thing. Making it back to this thing was to get Kevin Punter so we could get to the Final Four.
The defense is a key. Don't match. However you got it, we got to get that. Our thing is defensive transition. That's what we have to get back 5-0. Don't let them put us beat. Watch out, 5-4, 4-5 pick and roll. 5-4 pin down and duck in after that. Don't spend 3 fouls on there, just play strong defense. Once we see close on inside, let's put some bodies in, okay? Rebounds, we gotta win that game, okay? We play 2-side long. Martin.
Interesting there that Coach Georgievich made a big deal with Morea, making sure he stays out of foul trouble.
Rebound, offense rebound. Very important. Yeah. With the second opportunities, we are here in this championship. Okay. We have to look for it. Okay. It not depends only if our percentages in a shot. Okay. It's also
Well, all the blood, sweat, tears, the long road trips, all the hard practices, everything, it all comes down to this. All those tough games, those thrillers, the ups and downs that you have in a European season. These two teams have been able to navigate it and make no mistake about it. Every one of these players has been through the wars to try to get here. And here they are in the final. And this is a life moment for all of these guys.
And I think you made such an important point about navigating the ups and downs, because over the season there's ups and downs. You need great leadership for your coaches to navigate that. And during this game, there are going to be moments where teams are going to build momentum. How do you respond to that and deal with the downs and the ups as you go through the game? Both these teams are so well led from the bench, and they both have experience on the floor. This is going to be a tough toe-to-toe one. This isn't going to. I don't think this is going to be one of those up and down and shoot it after 1 or 2 passes. They're going to play basketball here. For you guys who love watching basketball, this is going to be a real joy. And this is, as Coach Georgievich said, great people playing great games, and it's about great people.
Well, hello everybody, we're underway, and on the jump ball, the ball has been awarded to Iberostar Tenerife. So San Miguel right in front of us will be inbounding the ball, or at least they'll try to.
Wow.
And try is the operative word because he does it, and Martin delivers an early statement with a steal and a dunk.
Wow, that's pressure, right? That's inbound denial.
Well, Iberostar Tenerife better wake up quickly, because the way this Virtus team has been playing, they have been on fire defensively, and the signs are promising for the Italian club here at the start of this game. Taylor whips it to the corner. Amat Mbai, one of the revelations of the season of Europe, off 1 foot.
Wow. They run half-court offense, they get a nice look, he gets advantage, they get their defense. Perfect start.
Mbaye has played so well this season, especially in the Basketball Champions League. It earned him a spot in France's national team for the World Cup qualifiers. He helped qualify for that tournament. It'll be in China this summer. Now the reach, almost a turnover, a rush shot, and a very shaky beginning for the Canary Islanders, the team that's supposed to be have all the experience.
Oh, we made the point in the game yesterday about if you can guard them one-on-one, they do struggle sometimes to score because they won't beat you on the dribble. And wow, that's a statement for those two plays. They got nothing out of what they were running. Punter and Taylor in particular on the perimeter. They're just down low playing defense. And Tenerife will just grind it out. They'll work their way into the game.
The Virtus fans dotted around this arena, but there's also a couple of packs standing up and creating a lot of noise. You can hear him in the background. Here's the punter, chased by San Miguel rather. Martin back to punter, that's his range. It's good. He's red hot, folks. He is smoking. Picks right up where he left off in the semifinal win. Had 21 points in the victory over Brosa Bamberg. Abramitis now gets it in the paint, hesitates, takes the contact from Mbaye. And Saiz and Chile look on. Here's Abramitis. He was the MVP of the quarterfinal round after leading the team past Hapoel Jerusalem.
On that last possession, Tenerife couldn't do anything else defensively. They stopped everything. They switched. They almost looked to trap against that. But then you've got Punter. Gets his feet set. He's under pressure. His hand in the face just buries it. This team is ready to play. As we've said already, starts with your defense. So their defense at the minute, everywhere.
And not to kick a horse while it's down, but, you know, that was the remark made by Lindy. Maybe, you know, those guys from Bamberg just weren't ready to play on Friday. And they weren't ready to play tonight. And if there's one thing you'd say about Virtus, they've been breathing fire, but those two free throws badly needed here at the start of the game for Tenerife to get something. Martin pushing off a little bit with his left forearm. There's Punter again, he's open. Go! Oh. How many times do you have to leave him open? Watch him make a shot before you guard him. Now the three attempt. And going up for the rebound was Casino. Boy, that was a hard pick by Iverson, wasn't it?
And often, as we get to see this, and there's nothing but string on this. That's a release on a jump shot.
Nothing but string on both of them.
Just splashed it. Like Morea just went straight over to Tanner and said, hey, I should have said something. He's apologized him for because he really got taken out with that pick.
Morea joined this Virtus team mid-season from Powell. Another Basketball Champions League team. San Miguel, shot clock winding down, launches. Abramitis flies in for the rebound, but is swatted from behind.
Wow, I want to see that again. I'm not sure that was the one coming down.
Yeah, tough call there. They were asking for the goaltend or the goal interference. Martin at the line, that's short. Not sure if that shot was blocked. Abramitis again. Long rebound to him. Brusino, he's open, and that's too long.
This is too quick for Tenerife. This is not the way they're going to beat Bologna just by running and gunning shots in transition. I think they're going to have to spend some time with the ball, take some intensity out of this.
Punter pulls up, and this time he misses, but Morea grabs an important offensive rebound. Punter again, it's on line!
Oh.
He is unreal right now. Three-pointers in the first 4 minutes.
And apart from one of those, Jeff, there's been people all over him as well. Wow.
Delay's going to come in, and Dan White, San Miguel. Now Steiger bumped by Taylor.
And even though there's been a couple of contacts or whatever, Coach Shortridge is going to want that, though. His team need that type of intensity. They may foul, they may give up some. As long as they're those types of fouls, he's going to be happy. So they are literally getting after everything.
We're seeing a quick pass to Iverson, gets rejected, then he goes right back at him. And we highlighted him before the game, and he's stuck with it.
Yeah, they're in the half court. They got a lot of action away from it. Great little opportunity for Ivan. I think they've got to spend time with the ball, Tenerife.
And by his second made jump shot. Great start for him. San Miguel. White. Pass in the hands of Morea. And Martin falls down, loses control. So a break for Iberostar Tenerife.
After the last turnover, Iberostar wanted the timeout because even though they've struggled for the first time, they look completely disorientated. Iverson wasn't expecting the pass. He's like, hey, I've got to calm this down. Let's remember who we are. Let's remember how we play the game. Let's take a listen.
Vale, ya de cortes 5, vamos a jugar lo que te he dicho. Pick and roll corner. Cortes blue, 44, pecho 3. Pick and roll side con el pecho. Vamos a darle un poco de tal. No hemos metido los tiros solos. We are shooting alone. We are shooting completely alone. They are shooting always with one player in front and score. Mbaye 4 points and Panther 9 points. But you don't put your hand up the first one. You don't put your hand up the second one. You don't put your hand up the third one. And his range, we know, is this. He's long range shooter. Rodri, le coges tú. You defend him. Okay? Javi, vas por Brucey. Vamos, vamos.
Here's a look at Punter, one of his three-pointers, and of course, Punter was announced last night, the star lineup of this Basketball Champions League season, along with Tim Abramitis of Iberostar Tenerife. Also in that team, Vince Hunter of Ike, Tyrese Rice, who was the MVP of the league from Rosa Bamberg, and Ismail Paco from Telenet Giants Antwerp. But also in that second team was Ahmad Mbaye, who made it from Virtus. Star lineup, second best team, rather. Along with James Felding, Paris Lee, Obi Soko, and Colton Iverson of Iberostar Tenerife. So it's a very animated timeout for Vitoretta. We'll see if the fortunes improve for Iberostar Tenerife. Iverson, good spin move.
Great ball movement before it, Jeff, as well. They spend time with it, gets down to the last part of the clock. They get a shot that's under control, and then the pace goes out of the game. And they really do have to spend time with the ball.
It's always important to score coming out of a timeout that you've called, that's for sure. Mbaye. Again, fading back. The ball into the hands of Bayron, who again was crucial in that win, semifinal. He's really being guarded by the best defender, I would suggest, of this Virtus team, Martin. And just like, that's really a wrinkle to his game. Has come to the fore.
And they get the little sort of flex cut action screen to give him a little bit of advantage. Didn't matter, they didn't switch. He just went to that little jump hook, that running hook. It's a tough thing to defend. It's a tough shot. But again, they spent time with the ball.
Taylor almost walked. Punter now to Morea. Burns, soft shot over the rim. And great response here by Iberostar Tenerife. It's going to be Mario Chalmers and Pietro Aradori
the last three possessions, that's how Tenerife have to play the game. Time with the ball down there and forcing Bologna into the half court.
Bayron left open. Gillet gets in for the rebound, and the Belgian has the ball stolen by Aradori. Foul called on San Miguel. Bassis is going to come in. Aradori was able to reach in and just take it right away. Chalmers plays with a lot of bravado. He's a late season addition to this team. Now the kick, gonna put 14 on the shot clock. Kravic now also coming back into the game as you look at the replay of that kick by Iverson.
It's so important that Kravic gives the same energy that he gave yesterday. Just work on the inside, do what Morea was doing, just keep doing the same things.
Over to Chalmers. And another offensive rebound for Virtus. Again for three. Go! Well, he had some good games from three-point range during the season, and that was all about that offensive rebound. Aradori again knocks it away, this time from Bayron, and it's Chalmers in the open floor. And Mbaye gets it and goes up and flushes it. Two hands. Biggest lead of the game now for Virtus, 12 points. Bassis now for three. Iverson with the rebound.
Bassis has a point. We get a replay. Bassis gets hit. Obviously gets hit, and the referee doesn't give him the call. And it's because it's almost like everybody on the Bologna team is in a passing lane. There's so much going on. It's very different. Sometimes they don't call anything when there's those things going on. And they have to be relentless with this now, Bologna, because that's the thing that set the tone. Their defense has taken Tenerife right out of what they want to run. Let the referee make the call. Otherwise, you carry on doing what you're doing. And Bassis is going to say, well, you just called that. Why don't I not get a call? You can rest assured this Tenerife team are resilient, though. They're going to be able to deal with this if they can just get some rhythm going that suits them.
Balderossi is checked into the game and hands it off to Chalmers. David Corno also in the game. He's being guarded by White. Yang is in covering Kravic. So Aradori, Yang not able to rebound it. He had a huge impact on the win against Antwerp, but now an offensive foul called on Balderossi. Final minute of a thrilling first quarter, which has been really almost dominated by Virtus. Holding this Iberostar Tenerife team to just 8 points. It looked like Yang might have walked
twice. I think it was so obvious that they couldn't make the call on them. They are completely taken out of what they're trying to run.
Now Kravic has it. Chalmers pushing it as he does so well. And again, everything starting on the defensive end for Virtus.
See, the 20 points is manageable. The 8 isn't. That's the thing. The 20 points, punters made some tough shots. So you can talk about that. That's not a problem. What is the problem is they cannot just get anything going offensively. The only time they've got the ball to Bayram, he made his runner, but everything else is not Tenerife basketball.
Well, he breaks both of those. Did a decent job yesterday. And Yang on his feet finally controls the rebound on his knees, rather. Passes guarded closely by Corno. And I don't think we're going to count that.
No. But they've played all this pressure, Jeff, and with 5.5 seconds to go, then they just pick up their 4th team foul. The defense on the ball is outstanding at the moment. They're in stance, they're moving their feet, really are taking them out of anything. The pick is becoming ineffective because of the way the defense is actually fighting over the top. And Coach Videoretta's wanting to talk about this the whole time now. He's really making a point. And he's just looking at the officials saying, well, you've got to look after my team.
Oh, a little bit of afters there by Chalmers. That's why the ref had a word with him. So 5.5 seconds left to get a shot for Tenerife. The pass to Chile. He puts up a 3. Bayram gets the rebound and I think had more time than he realized and rushed it up and ended up missing it badly. So the lead is 20-8 for Segafredo versus Bologna over Iberostar Tenerife, and a stunning performance by the Italians.
Well, these stats are not going to be great if you're a Tenerife fan. 0 for 8 from the three-point line. 4 for 5 for Bologna is outstanding, but they can't maintain that. It's a little bit deja vu. Look how bad they were in the first quarter. Yesterday, Tenerife trailed 20-12. Okay, it's 20-8. Difference is this is versus Bologna, not like telling it Antwerp. I do think they've got to find a way to get into a half-court game, set good screens, and create out of their offensive sets. And down the defensive end, we said this yesterday, they will put a quarter on the floor, Tenerife will. They will shut you down. Yesterday it was 6 against Antwerp. So it was 6 against Antwerp yesterday. There's going to be a quarter where they'll do that. You know, there's going to be a quarter. They do that. Probably when Punter's not on the floor.
Well, how about this? It's the first time that Iberostar Tenerife have scored less than 10 points in a first quarter of a basketball championship game. So that is a indicator of just how difficult it's been for them.
Yeah.
Really, you know, we talked about it. We said we felt like if Hunter could provide some offense, and this Virtus team played defense the same way they played the other night against Barca Banker, they could win it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's exactly how this has started.
Because, and the other fact, you picked it up with Bai. When Punter went out, Bai just stepped up. I'll take the 3 now. I'll get on the glass. So they're getting that. That all starts with the intensity they're putting on the floor at the defensive end. Every single person is engaged and in rhythm of the game.
And really, the player who gets vilified somewhat because of his defense, Adadori, has actually come out and made a couple of good plays on defense as well.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. And this allows Djordjevic to leave Punter sitting there for a while, staying fresh.
Well, they've got to get something from Brasino. And he ends up getting a layup. He misses. Yang there for the follow and put back. It continues to be important. Coming off the bench. Adadori into the corner it goes. Corno and Balderossi, the rebound, might have gotten away with a push.
But Abramovich just didn't box him out. He was a push, but almost didn't deserve the foul.
Corno falls out of bounds and throws it into the hands of Bayram. Now Brasino. His pass batted out of bounds by Chalmers. The ends are up. They know the pass is coming.
up, they don't just get back. They're back and active. It gets back, protects the basket, funnels out. It's like it's out the manual. This is Djordjevic putting this stuff on the floor with his team.
Now Brasino hits the high screen, takes on Valderossi, and nevertheless a tough shot, and he missed. Corno a couple of times getting trapped down there on the baseline. I tell you, that's not a pretty picture for Tenerife, seeing those three guys sitting on the bench knowing they're going to be coming back soon.
Exactly. Tenerife spending a lot of time talking to the official about help me. They don't need help. They need to take care of their own business.
Kravitz with the dunk. Now chasing the ball. Chalmers makes contact and is called for the foul, but that is terrific defense by Chalmers.
Oh, it's the effort. I mean, if you're going to foul, you've got to foul with that sort of defensive intensity. If there's some contact, you just got to play hard. That's what they're doing. Physically, athletically, doing a great job. One pass away, they're in the lane. Their rotations are excellent. But the defense on the ball is just simply outstanding.
So Iverson has come back in for Niang. His impact wasn't quite as significant so far as it was last night. Abromaitis gets it. There it is to Iverson. He passes it back out to Bayron. Iverson with the offensive board. Now San Miguel wide open, takes the three. And then scrapping for the rebound.
The good thing, though, is they're getting open looks now. The last couple of possessions, they've got open. They've got to make them, but for the first time, they're getting open looks. The more time they can spend passing the ball, the tougher it's going to be for that defense to maintain that intensity. You've got to get them into scramble. You've got to get them into chasing and helping, and if they do, they will get open looks.
Well, Vitoretta sat down. He doesn't know what else he can say right now. Hasn't been said. His players are going to have to start figuring this out. Starts on this end of the floor. Chalmers right into the hands of Bayron. That leads to a break from Miguel. He's going to dish it. He's going to go all the way.
He'd have left it alone, 3-on-1.
You think it was going in?
Yeah, definitely going in. It was soft, it was soft, it was soft. I think it's just gone up, come straight down.
Here it is, look again. You be the judge at home. It was different. He still gets a couple of fingers. But they won't be at one.
Hey,
What happened yesterday? As soon as they started to come up with a little plays, he's straight on it. Remember what we do. Don't let them get momentum. And he's right on it again. They're going to come up with 2 defensive steals back to back. He's seen enough. That's it. Hey, move the ball, run our stuff, and I won't be surprised if Punter comes straight back now.
Okay.
10 points off turnovers for
Filo, Kravitz,
Segafredo.
very good.
Here's
Switching
Bologna.
and re-switching.
For Iberostar
Good.
Tenerife.
Let's
You're
go get
right.
the offensive side of the rebound.
You're right,
Go.
Djordjevic.
Okay.
Is,
Now, Martin.
knows he can use his timeouts.
The 3 guy. What's
It's
his
a lot
name?
easier,
Filo.
obviously, if you start
Okay,
this
nice.
well.
Okay. Keep on
You've got a
playing.
cushion and you can control it.
L up. L up.
It's a great
What?
look, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
Filippo,
waiting
here.
the
Mario, get the ball.
mobile phone.
Filo, go cut and go here. Wait, Kravitz. Get the ball. After that, cut. And let's see if Filippo is there.
The great advertisement.
Let's go, White.
European basketball. There's
Yep.
no doubt about it here in Antwerp. 3rd Final Four. We've been to Tenerife, the Canary Islands, year 1. We went to the great city of Athens last year, and now we're in the heart of Western Europe in the north of Belgium. The great city of Antwerp. Already today, Antwerp, Telenet Giants Antwerp winning the third place game over Rosa Bamberg. This is now the final, and Iberostar Tenerife attempting to become the first team in a relatively young history, admittedly, to win the Basketball Champions League twice. But going up against a team that looks like it might not be denied because they're with Bologna. So this free throw is important. Gets it back to a 10-point game now. Martin Hunter back in the contest. So that was another result of the timeout. Chalmers. And right, and Iverson has scored. So he's going to take it. Offensive foul. Ball on Iverson.
See what it does. You know, you're going to get a look at this drive where he just recognizes that Iverson can't contain him. He's going to take it, takes it strong, uses his body really well. Because they're doing such a good job of going over the top of the screen, it challenges the person to execute that coming off the pick. So the pick is almost too tempted. It has to move. It feels it has to do more than actually just be there stationary, setting that screen for the offensive player to come off. And then now Iverson, in an attempt to make it more effective, screen moves, and they call the screen, and they call it offensive. But that's an outcome of the defense that Bologna are putting on the floor.
Tony Taylor back in. He's got the ball. Turns, puts it up, scores. So many options. 14 points to lead. Real trouble early for Iberostar Tenerife. Messino. Iverson sets the pick. Messino puts it up. Great hustle by Iverson to get in there for the rebound. He's fouled. I mean, that was a tremendous hustle by Iverson.
He went after it. And encourage, like, you know, stay with. Iverson's not happy about that because he feels he's in the air, and encourage just kept going through it. But I think they're going to have to go toe-to-toe and match this physicality with their own physicality. Otherwise, they just will not be able to compete.
Steiger guarded by Punter. Steiger's a good shooter himself. This is Tony Taylor with the ball and the rebound. Now Punter is in his range. He walks into the gym. You got to keep an eye on him. Imbibe for three. Another for the France International. Wow. Did anybody see this coming? 17 points. The advantage. Tiger and the charge called on San Miguel.
It's forcing Tenerife to do things that they're just not. It's not in their locker. They don't have those players. They've got to deal with things away from the ball. They've got to create advantage with the execution. At the moment, they're trying to play people one-on-one. They just don't. They can't do that. Maybe Jeff, they've only missed 1 3 in the whole game so far. Bologna surely can't shoot that percentage for the game. So Tenerife have to just try and grind their way back into this.
This is the shot. Iverson, see how crucial he is inside. Popping up those misses. Iverson posting up Imbibe. Great defense by Imbibe. Iverson with 3.7 seconds left. Here it is again.
By stayed down, didn't he? Stayed down in a strong position, and Iverson just couldn't bully him into the block.
That's what Mbaye did at the other end. Hit one of those threes that he's knocked in. Lucino open. And there for the follow was Iverson. It's like you say, they got to chip away, but they've got to do it grinding away. That's the only way the Virtus Bologna are going to play. They're going to play tough, make you play physical. Taylor floats in another basket.
I never thought I'd make this. Tenerife just don't appear to be able to guard him. Full stop. Cannot contain penetration at all.
And now they've called an offensive foul on Bayron, saying he got him with his left elbow. Watch this.
I'm sorry, I don't see that. If the defense is going to play that physical, there's going to be contact. There wasn't really an extension of the arm. But Bologna are doing this. They're setting the tone. You've got to just congratulate them on the way they've set the tone with this game.
17 points to lead. Really, Tenerife cannot afford to let this lead grow anymore. It's going to be mission impossible for a comeback. Mbaye went right past Chile. Iverson got the block. First call for the foul. A chance from the Spanish section here is fuera. F-U-E-R-A, which means away. Out of here, talking to the referees, voicing their disapproval. But meanwhile, the Virtus fans celebrating as Mbaye goes to the line. Had 9 points in the first quarter. Now he's got 13. Game high. Dump to Iverson, who goes up and makes it. You're right, Iberostar Tenerife repeatedly looked at the referee.
Every time.
Appealing for fouls, but they just got to play.
Just got to play harder through it. They've got to force the referee to make the call. And then they'll think they're going to get more frustrated now because there's a sort of reaching foul. The difference is they're not reaching fouls down the other end. They're physical fouls or not fouls, not being called. And most of the time, Bologna are in stance. They're not reaching. These guys at the moment, but they're already celebrating winning. There's an eternity to go in the game. We're talking about a team that's been a Basketball Champions League champion, and knows ways to come back into games. This isn't done by any means. Coach Iberostar will make some adjustments, but the physicality is the one that really concerns me. They're just not competing physically. It's almost like they're hoping and waiting for the referee to deal with it. They've got to deal with it themselves.
Hunter continues scoring the points. He's got 11. Those 2 free throws. Passes. Now to Bayron. Bounce pass to Passes, back to Bayron. And that was goal interference.
Now it's going to be hard. They've got to run plays like that where they make an extra pass and they're scrambling, and they've just got to have enough control and keep moving to find the open man. That was obviously an example around the ring. They've got to do that for the whole of the 24. They've got to be patient, spend time with the ball.
Saiz has come into the game for the first time since Saiz. All of Spain's World Cup qualifiers. Here's Morea, blocked behind by Saiz. And Passes, I think, was fouled. Watch this. They were hoping
They're saying that I think they're going to call a foul on Bayram because they're saying he's going across the arm, but they both helped. It was a held ball.
So another foul on Bayram, and that's his second. Just under 3 minutes remaining in the first half. So you think they can make some adjustments at the break if they can get there with this thing still within striking distance?
Yeah, I think the one place that Bologna's allowing them to stay with it, they're not doing a great job from the free throw line. But apart from that, yeah, they're going to have to. I do think, you know, players with reputations like Abramadis has been anonymous. Where has he been? And time with the ball, it's a tough way to come back in a game where it's about getting time with the ball when you're 17 down with 3 to go in the first. But if you can spend time with the ball and get stops, you don't have to do it in one go. I don't think they should panic at the other end. Their defense is good. Their defense is how they've built their program. So if they stay with their own defense but physically compete, they're going to be in good shape.
Oh, backdoor cut to Bayram. He passes it back, ends up with Messina wide open and fouled by Chalmers while attempting the three. If he'd made it, would have been a 4-point play.
That's more like Tenerife basketball, though. They actually, by the pass, broke the defense down. Extra pass got the wide open. Brasino was making those shots yesterday for fun. They've just been taken out of the rhythm. They've just got to stay with what Tenerife do.
2:42 to go in the first quarter. And Brasino is at the line. Had a spell in the NBA, you might remember, and when it's going bad, it's going bad. Great shooter like Brasino doesn't miss many of those.
It's your headspace. He's had to play this first half in a different rhythm, at a different pace than he wants to. Best place to get your stroke going is on the free throw line. Goes 2 for 3.
Okay, so he's got it back to a 15-point lead or deficit. Now Chalmers beats the pressure, almost has it knocked away, and his pass intercepted. And the hands of punter are up. I have to say, Chalmers' defense is just doggone good, isn't it? I mean, he is really...
He's the best of a great defense.
Probably brutalizing Brasino as he brings up the court, but it was... not that it was wrong, just being physical. Here's Bayram. Brasino again. And now a foul called on Virtus. He missed. And I think Kravic for holding Saiz.
Yeah.
Holding his left arm. Right, locked him up.
But the great thing is, and there is stories about, you know, when you get into, if all 5 people are being physical, it's hard to know where to call a foul in that situation. 4-5 foul, 2 things will happen. You'll spread the fouls out amongst everybody, but the whole tempo and physicality of the game is where they want it to be.
Saiz makes 1 of 2. And it's back to a 14-point game.
Tenerife would love this to be around 10 at the half. If they get it to 10, they'll think they're right in it, because this could have been 20. This could have been very, very messy for them.
And it still could end up being.
Yep, it's right. That's it. This 2 minutes is not about. They won't win it. No one could. They could lose the game in this next 2 minutes if they let Bologna get going again.
Mbai holds it strong, goes strong to the basket, follows up the miss. Now Moreira, another chance for Virtus. And Saiz called for foul on punter. That is team foul number 6. So free throws for punter.
Why do you foul then? You've already done your job. You've stopped him turning the corner as we see the penetration, where there was a lot of challenge, which is good for Tenerife. He's on the sideline. Saiz has just got to stay down in stance and say, beat me on the dribble, I've got help. Don't foul him and send him to the line, because Hunter's a 80+% free throw shooter.
Georgievich really sung his praises in the press conference, saying he's a good kid and he worked so hard in practice, and that's what you don't see. If you're a fan, you don't know the hours that he's putting in. So even though he was struggling with his shooting, he was putting in the work. It seems to have come good here in the Final Four. Chile for three. Tice. Now he gets an offensive rebound, another opportunity. They run to Chile again. Go!
Coach Iberostar just thanked that. He just couldn't see where a three was going to drop from. That's the first one they've made in a long time.
Dorian. It's now low back outside the Empire. He's been tremendous. Bounce pass to Chalmers. And now Rosino gets his hands up for the steal. And great job by Morea to bother to block it. He knew the pass was coming. And it put Passes off of the pass. And now you can't see it out of your screen. Federetta's given an earful to Rosino for making that pass. That was the three that was just made by Gillette.
Se ha metido un tío en medio, claro, es complicado, porque le ha engañado la referencia. Hostia, si pasas fuerte no te la comes.
Hold it. Ahmad, boom.
It's almost as though Coach Iberostar has tried to find guys who are going to stand up physically in this scenario. And these guys, the last few possessions they've come up with steals, they've contested penetrations, and he's just had to look for a different type of combination. He's got to get contribution out of Abromaitis though in the second half. Yeah, you can't be a leading rebounder 1 minute and then be anonymous the next. You can't be a scorer 1 minute and then be anonymous the next. You've got to stand up in this situation and compete. Because that's what they weren't doing. Now they're starting to compete. 13 down, but they're at the defensive end again. They could have been at 10 if they hadn't turned the ball over. Morea's defense really did keep the margin. They're going to feel disappointed if they're only up 10. You know, that's going to be a tough half time.
Interesting. One of the stats that appeared, the 10 turnovers by Tenerife, but also Virtus have 7.
Yeah.
So that's a lot for them at this stage of the game.
And they've happened, 4 of those have happened in the last 3-4 minutes. With a couple of backdoor passes that haven't gone. So the game, they've almost stopped the bleeding now, Tenerife. They've just got to start patching up the wounds.
Shot clock down to single digits. Passes out there with Chalmers, who misses, but another offensive rebound or two, and once again, Virtus are going to the line.
That's just great offensive rebounding. They get strong, and then draw the contact.
Morea got the first offensive rebound. And now another timeout is called by Tenerife. If you can't rebound, you're not going to win a game like this.
And if you don't box out, if you're Tenerife, you ain't getting rebounds, because if it becomes a jumping competition, an athletic competition, there's only one team that's going to win. And like in that one, Chile just missed the box out. That's all he did. He just missed the box out. Not the first one, the second one. And they just got to do it. And it's 1 for 15. That's why I say Iberostar just put his hands up and said, "We've made one." And even if they shoot poorly, they've made 4. Another 3, and they're up to 30. It's a tight game. So that's why I say I don't think their defensive end is the problem. Their offense is just not functioning. And that's credit to the defense. It's taking them out of their rhythm. They're a team that likes to move the ball, get open looks. They haven't had many open looks. So it's going to be, I don't think he needs to panic. He's going to close, he's going to shut them down. Apart from the offensive rebounding, when punter goes out, they're not the same team. So just make a couple of shots, and this game you're right back in it, because 37 points, you can manage that. That's looking at a 70-point game. That's not that many more than Tenerife allow on average. So it's the offensive end. Just too many people at the minute are anonymous. Iverson has actually given him a chance to stay in this because he just worked hard for a couple. And Devin White was no factor on Friday in the semifinals. He could be a key factor because he can get going. He is very streaky, very good at making perimeter jump shots.
Those folks very happy with what they've seen so far from their team. So that miss corralled by Bayron. It's a 14-point deficit. And Tenerife will be looking for this to be the last possession of the half. White. Some famous shots from Tenerife in his career. He's going to put one up now, but it's short. Size the rebound, has it knocked away by Martin. Martin's a test, and here's his Bologna. Richly deserved the 38-24 lead at halftime. So Mark, here's this walk off the court with a 14-point lead at halftime. They've really been good. They're 5 of 9 from 3. I mean, they got the great start from punter. And the local shooting, the struggle, the myriad of struggles. Let's listen to Ahmad Mbaye.
A great first half for Bologna. What do you have to do in the second half?
I think just keep doing what we've been doing right now. There's a few things that we need to do better. We need to get more boards, obviously, and we need to make free throws. I personally missed 2. I think obviously need to make those. So just trying to push that lead, but I think pretty much like the same that we've been doing so far. We're doing okay.
So Ahmad Mbaye's had some big plays tonight: scoring, rebounding, follow, put-back dunks, you name it. He's been the man on the spot. Now Colton Iverson.
A disappointing first half. What do you guys have to do in the second half?
What's that?
A disappointing first half, but what do you guys need to do in the second half?
They're playing aggressive, but we just got to play through it, be aggressive on offense, and Cook and playing. We got to play through it. They're letting them play, so we got to keep playing.
Colton Iverson certainly has been physical. And provided some presence where you'd expect. Here it is. But not been enough of that. And even he's faced the physicality. So, you know, he's got hands in his face, there's people jumping behind him, around him, when he's trying to go up. And you just have to tip your hat to the Virtus defense.
Yeah, and that last clip just sums it up. They got a 2, but it was so close. And statistically here, Iverson, 8 and 5, he really has literally just managed to keep Tenerife just about within touching distance. But you saw that stat line of 1 from 17, 1 from 18, or 1 from 15 rather. Just make 3 jump shots and you're right in the game. You know, just make 3 and you're 5 down. Especially when the other guys are going like 5 for 9. It's everything that could have happened for Bologna has, but you've got to say their physical statement defensively has just set a tone. And at the moment, Tenerife have only just adjusted to it now. I'm sure Villarreal is going to be in that locker room saying, hey, are we going to stand up? Are we going to try and compete physically? Remember how we play the game. We can't, and they showed it in that last part of the other half. They can get turnovers, they can shut them down. If they rebound, they're right in this.
What does this tell you, though, about Sasa Djordjevic and his ability to prepare a team for a Final Four like this, the way that he has?
Well, what it tells you definitely, if you're just looking at the evidence, even though we know about his history, is that in this situation today, he has motivated these guys, not just motivated in terms of effort, but to stay on point, to actually give yourself up defensively. Because, let's be fair, at times Bologna this year haven't played this defense. They haven't been in the passing lane. They haven't competed. If they played like this every week, they would be in the Italian playoffs. You know, they would be there. They would be not losing games. So the one-off games, he's obviously got them engaged. Punt has played as much defense as he has shots. You know, they have really one pass away, defend your guy on the ball and rotate. You can't do it any better than they've done it, and they're physical athletes, so they've been tremendous.
Well, it's been a masterclass performance defensively, especially from Virtus. And we posed the question: they could win if Punter scored, but it's also taken Mbai to come out and make some shots tonight. They combined for 27 of Virtus Bologna's 38 points. Mbai with 14. And really, interestingly, we saw Mamadou Niang come off the bench and really make an impact against Antwerp on the opening night, but he hasn't been able to do that tonight. Abromaitis, as you said, has to step up.
Absolutely. I mean, he has a reputation to being able to help this team win, and he has made absolutely zero contribution. I mean, he's 0 from the field. He only has 3 rebounds, and he has no other stat, no assists, no anything.
What you can't see is we're looking at these highlights here with Mbai hitting one of his big threes. And again, another look at that three. What you can't see in this arena, there's a bunch of kids, and they come to the game. And they're getting a chance to get pictures with Jishon behind us, as well as Paris Lee, who played for Jishon Tate, who played as the star of the game today for Antwerp. That's what's great about a Final Four and about the type of moment. You bring it to this town. I mean, those kids are going to remember that forever. They'll take it home.
That picture's going to be on their phone, being sent to their friends and everything. And that's what makes this game great. You can get up close to the stars, and kids are going to love that. They're going to, as you say, remember it.
So, a 14-point lead. You think that Iberostar Tenerife need to cut into that deficit immediately at the start of the second half?
Oh, I think it's. I think they need one of those Tenerife quarters where they really keep them to single digits, or a period of the game when they keep them to single digits. I think they're capable of doing that. But if you're only going to score 24 points, I mean, like, you've got to keep it to 10. Obviously, they're going to shoot better than that. But they have to win the third quarter. As long as it's by 1, they have to win the third quarter. If they win the third quarter, then they've got the momentum going into the fourth. And at some point, Bologna are making 5 from 9 from the three-pointer. And as long as they rebound, they'll get back in. How many easy baskets have Tenerife had? None. Even the breakaway, two that ended up being a free throws, they got challenged on. They got no easy looks anywhere for 20 minutes.
Well, the most wins in the Basketball Champions League this season after being down by 10+ points, Iberostar Tenerife. So it's not like they don't know how to come from behind and win games. However, they've lost all 4 of their Basketball Champions League games where they were trailing by more than 12 points. So that doesn't bode well. But it's been such a tough night that even Brasino has missed a free throw, something he hadn't done since December 11th. And obviously, Kevin Punter now is also the top scorer now in Basketball Champions League playoff history with 168 points, surpassing his former teammate, Ishan Shakota, who had 167. They were teammates at Ike last season. And this will not surprise you, and I think we said the same thing yesterday for Brosa Bamberg. The 24 points that Iberostar Tenerife have on the board, that is their lowest score at halftime of a Basketball Champions League game this season, and that is Alexander Sausage-Rutledge. I mean, the players have to buy in, and you got to give them the credit, but it's the point of emphasis. And somehow he's able to get his people as you said, on point.
It's hard to get a team that doesn't normally play that sort of defense to play it for a whole half. Because they'll play it for a bit. I thought that at some points they might like, oh, okay, we're up 10, we're okay. Because they then revert to their most common behaviors. This is the way we normally play, they revert to that. He has not, the only time they look like they're going to be like that, bang, timeout. And he's reminding them all the time. And the great start meant he could rotate and rest people so they can maintain it. And everybody bought in. It doesn't matter who he's got in the game, they have all bought in to that approach.
Well, we're at halftime. It's 38-24. Virtus Bologna on top of Iberostar Tenerife. We'll be right back before the start of the second.
What did you say to your team at half-time?
We have to improve our percentages in 3 points. We are missing more than 10 shots absolutely alone. Our basketball is we have to follow shooting these shots, these open shots alone. And this is a final. We have 20 minutes. We have 20 minutes to change our face, to change our mind, and score these clear options to come back.
Thank you. It's a great first half for your team. What do you have to do in the second half?
Well, we have to understand that it's not going to be the same, respond with the same intensity, defensive above all, and play to win.
Thank you.
Maybe if they made the switch earlier, how do you compare? Maybe you could just prepare for this Final Four.
This isn't Italian league defense, is it? In the Italian league, you're not playing this way. They don't play this way. And in some Champions League regular season games, they made it a half-court game, and they won games by 4 or 5 points, etc. This is a different game. They have used it. They've got a team that they should play like this all the time. They've got a team of great athletes who can play basketball. Where's that been? Which maybe you don't buy into unless it's a big game. But they are on it today in terms of on the ball. It starts on the ball. How many times have one of these guys got beat off the dribble? Never. So obviously the point of the offense, we know where it is. We're not turned. We're in stance, and then one pass away, guys are going. Yeah, they've given up a couple of back doors. They've given up a couple of little things around the ring, but you'll give those up if you're wearing the team down. But they have worn them down, and it's can they? I still think do they have it? The mentality to do it for a whole game? We're just about to find out. Because if they don't, Tenerife will start knocking down shots. And if they start knocking down shots, they'll start building the pressure defensively.
Second half action underway here in the Palace Sport in Antwerp. Sports Palace, if you like. And here's Elmeth Mbai. And here's us with that opening possession. Tony Taylor back to punter is open. No, I can't believe it. And a foul as well. Boy, this could not have been a worse start to the second half. Iberostar Tenerife team that has not had much going right tonight.
Punter's made a great shot. That's completely unacceptable. How do you not chase him? How do you let him just move on penetration and not know where he is? And the guy's red hot, and you let him catch it and knock it down? It's just a criminal mistake defensive, a criminal breakdown first possession.
At Mbai. Just can't get it to go.
Just got intimidated. Got intimidated on the penalty. Why didn't he not go up through the contact? Maybe he was going to get blocked and he tries to ball fake. The guy's there. He's not finishing through the physical challenge and the shot blocking potential.
Well, I think Racino's borne the brunt of the blame. He's got 4 fouls, so he's out. That's crucial.
He's picked up 2 fouls in the first minute, one on a breakdown and one on a crazy, frustrating breach. Tenerife might be a little frustrated here with some of the fouls being called, but if the referee is going to call it that way, he's going to call it that way down here.
Yeah.
So you've got to play through that. Now the referees could have been a hard time saying, hey, we've got to clean this up a little bit. But like Tenerife has got to challenge the official down here to make the call.
Well, Villaret's over there. You can see him talking to Russell, trying to get his point across. Hopefully they can get some calls. And now Iverson has it. White. Somebody's got to step up and make a shot for this Tenerife team. Iverson. Inside, pulls, scores!
And this is Tenerife basketball. They ran the first screen, got the mismatch, and then were patient enough to get it in there. And Iverson went through the contact, and the referee had to make the call because he was strong going to the hoop. That's the way to deal with a problem, not look at the official and ask to be helped out.
So that was a good response from him. And as he said, he had done just enough to keep them in the game in the first half. That gets them back to a 50-point deficit. And now they've really got to lock down. They don't have Racino, who's on the bench with 4 fouls, but Bayron's back in the game. Cook's in the game. Marta. So still plenty of firepower out there for
know, Jeff, Rodrigo San Miguel is beginning to do a great job on punter. He really has got down low and really put him under pressure.
Abromaitis missing a shot he simply has to make.
And should make.
Tony Taylor's pass, batted, punter still catches it. Go! What a Can we just go ahead and write MVP?
Do it now, regardless, do it now. I mean,
he was good last year, but I think this year it's even better. White off the front of the rim. Abromaitis flies in for the rebound.
that's what he's got to give this team. That's what he does week in, week out. Find ways to contribute on the glass. Be active. Not make half-court fouls on crazy attempts to steal as he just did.
Iberostar's telling him to get up, play some defense up tight.
But he was late. The reason he fouled, he was late. He wasn't up tight. He became tight, and it was too late.
Yeah.
The San Miguel effort here is going to be fundamental to do they have a chance to get back in the game. Try and play this as a 4-on-4 game, as he forced Antwerp yesterday. Took Paris Lee in the same way.
Taylor out to Martin. Line. Rebound to Abromaitis.
That's what it looks like. And this is the point I was trying, instead of like bitching about the stuff at the other end, be as direct and as aggressive as they've been, because the referees look like they're calling it a little tighter. So White puts it on the floor, goes to the hoop, gets a little contact, goes through it, and the referee's then forced to call the foul. Out there, there's better people than him from that range.
Abromaitis inside for the double Jimmy foul. Here comes the Iberostar Tenerife.
So the one play before on the offensive glass by Abromaitis gets him going, then he gets it baseline, goes up strong. I don't know why they're really...
Boy, he really smacked him. That's almost an unsportsmanlike. I think that's what they're appealing for.
And they're probably right. See, the referees, and the reason they call that sometimes, the referee has to be careful now. Because what has happened down the other end? Does someone get going at Morea because he feels like he's been slapped hard? Coach Djordjevic doesn't see no problem in it at all.
I don't like it. Iberostar just shows great toughness, focus, outstanding. Lights on, stop with his feet. Gets it away. Back to Charles. Out to Jim Morea. And oh, they called a foul. There it is.
Where?
I don't see it. Told them what they were on.
That's I don't see the foul. He's actually almost not even in the play. He's on the backside of the play. But as you said, Jeff, it's now a 12-point game. They're going to make the throws to it like they did in the first to keep it ticking over. 12, 14 points with a little bit of momentum there. We're only halfway through the third. And who's made the difference? Abramelais has added another physical presence by being aggressive during this third quarter. It's just the difference now that it's almost as though it's taken this long for Tenerife to play the game in the right way.
It's one or two from Morea. Good damage limitation. They want to pick up the foul now. That's why she's in the payroll. Started by Iberostar. Quickly, gonna put the pass around. White puts it up deep. He's fouled by Hunter. 4-point play opportunity coming for Davin White. Well, he's hit some huge shots for Iberostar Tenerife. He certainly did in that first season.
Yeah.
They won the title. And here he is. He can get it to single digits, and he does with the 4-point play. Now, you know, Iberostar Tenerife are looking at it like they believe. And that was an unnecessary foul. Patrick
Exactly.
Munoz, CEO of the Basketball Champions League, looking on, no doubt. Excited about how this thing has unfolded here. Brilliant Final Four being in Antwerp. Silly foul in the backcourt.
Right, you're 20 meters. You're 20 meters from the ring. What are you doing? You've got everything you need. You're back to the single digits. Knuckle down, play some defense, get another stop. Who knows where you could be at the end of three. This will really test our Bologna engaged in this completely. And it almost just breaks that momentum. The time, the clock, everything stops. And makes the free throws. It's back out to a double-digit lead.
Well, I'm sure Iberostar would agree with you. If he could take it back, he would. Sometimes you do things. There's White again for three. And unlucky for Tenerife that the ball bounces over the backboard, so they can't try to get the rebound.
It's so important now they consolidate what they have. They can't let a little run go for Bologna now. Have to come down the floor and score. Get a good shot, and it's still around the 10, 11-point margin.
Miguel back to White. Now Iberostar goes right down the lane, takes a difficult shot. Zach Miguel runs Hunter, puts him on the free throw line.
Video lets him know about it too.
The two really almost boneheaded fouls.
Yes. And Abramelais' shot, having both of us that have physically played for the last 4 or 5 minutes in the game, he bows out again on the penetration, trying to avoid contact. Take it through that stuff. Force people to guard you, force people to contest it. If you're fouled, go to the line, make your throw. Don't come out with a, I can only describe as some sort of oopsie-doopsie shot because you're worried about the block.
Backcourt foul. Two really, I mean, unnecessary backcourt fouls have led to 3 free throws and more than likely will be 4 after this. So 6 unanswered points since Gavin White's point play. Back in as well, along with Bologna. Passes for 3. And I think Virtus called each other foul. That's a break for Tenerife, but football and basketball Tenerife, indeed, they're not getting the ball in the net. Steiger, that was Passes. Hit the three-pointer, but Play, however, is about to get that corner couple. Back to Steiger. It's out. Gang with the rebound. Steiger again. Got it!
When he makes one, he makes 2 or 3 in a row. They need to get him the ball now. But hey, Yang comes into the game, big impact straight away, offensive rebound, better contest on the glass.
Adedori decides to shoot it. Passes, another opportunity. Team to the Canary Islands. Guarding passes. Great job.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, Travis did a great job of denying the alley-oop. Look at this. He might have fouled him.
I don't think he traveled.
I don't think he did either. Borno drives in.
He should probably be called for travels for the next week on that first.
Foul ball Charles. Now can't see it. It's appealing for no sports penalty. Saying he wasn't playing the ball.
But he wasn't. But like, the thing is, and all year, officials have been calling those as don't make no attempt to play the ball. Don't just stop the clock. It's one of those things, if you caught all of those on sportsman, you could shoot free throws forever.
Yeah. No, you're right. You gotta be consistent. That's how you've been calling it.
Yeah. Then the players then don't do it, so you're not shooting free throws because they don't do it.
I can tell you, you can make a long list of highlights of that call. They don't have long. Bassett makes the first one. Back to the point. Virtus Bologna not out of the woods yet. Not by a long shot. Still 12 minutes and 14 seconds to go in this game. It's been such a
so indecisive on the penetration. Like one of those one-handed shooting drills to work on your form. He just doesn't do it on free throw. They just need a good shot. Get good shots. That's all they need to keep doing. They don't have to force anything. Best place for the Bulls to be is when they ran in the pocket. Again to control the defense. They've only given up 58 points. It's not the end of the world. People just aren't making shots they need to make at this level. We could analyze the game, but they've had open looks. They just can't knock them down.
And also what happens is you face such a large deficit. You're coming back. You almost have to play perfect basketball. You can't afford to make mistakes, mental mistakes, which is what they made by those committing those two backcourt fouls.
And that's the thing. That's unforgivable in that situation. White's made a 4-point play, and the very next defensive, like, bring it in and you foul. You just completely take every bit of pressure away from Bologna. Then you give them 6 points, 1 field goal, and 4 free throws, and you're like, you're in a hole. You've just got to play, as you say, perfect basketball. And they still get it back to 10. And they still get back in the game. And it's just people who make better percentages than this aren't shooting well enough. It's very like Bamberg. They shot ballsy the whole weekend. But there is this thing that you don't become a bad shooter. So is it in the fourth quarter? If they make those shots, they're going to get back in the game. But soon you start to worry about, can you keep getting stops? And then you actually look to force things a bit too much. They've got to keep playing Tenerife basketball. And that was so good. The penetration was behind the backwards, so he didn't help. He stayed in the lane. It's a smart play. It's the sort of thing he does, isn't it? Such a heads-up player.
Number minus back in the game. Steiger for 3. If he'd made that, it would have been also Tenerife possession. So the biggest lead has been 18 points. Right now it's at 14.
fouled or not, he should have put it in. Dory have a problem back there. He stopped, he took a couple of steps, and he said, well, the other referee didn't call it. That was as bad as the angle.
-3, go!
Hunter's back, yeah. He's a manufacturer of shots, isn't he? And he just laid that up with a bit of protection by the body. Good decision though, because you have to see them chasing him. Steiger's a spot-up shooter. Once Lucas Steiger decides he's going to put it on the floor for him, get rid of it and go and spot up. And then everyone's doing what they're good at.
Offensive foul on Taylor, going straight to the jaw. Is that going to be an unsportsmanlike?
Well, let's have a look, because the signal was he raised the elbow, then for a shoot. Big possession now, though. You're down 10 with a chance to get to 7 or 8 and play defense again. Coach Georgievich agrees with that one. Yeah, there you go. Hook you around, put your palm of your hand on the either way, palm of your hand makes it an easy call. Tenerife have got a couple of breaks here, Jeff. If they can execute now and get a shot, there is some momentum, loads of time left. Hey, how did that work, everybody? Yeah.
No surprise. Making plays. Here he is. Puts it up. Gets it go. And the foul. Iverson. This is a killer for Iberostar Tenerife.
3.4 seconds on the shot clock. They make a tough one off the glass, and then they get the Iverson misses a box out, and the referee calls it.
It's okay. I'll take one for the team. He's got 22 points.
work across the stat line. No, I think the foul's called on Batha. No, they called it on Racino. Batha's tried very, very hard to convince the official his hand. Obviously a foul. If he makes that shot, he makes that shot. He's taking a tough one. There's still only 12 down. They just can't put them away since they've got to 10, 12 points.
Someone looks over there on the bench, hopeful looks. Chalmers misses the first, and Iberostar misses the second.
Sometimes you can, because at some point, if they let it go on for this long in terms of those scenarios, when do they call the first one? And then who's the unlucky guy who gets that one?
Iverson gives it away. Inbox. That's what Video hopes now. They're going to stretch the floor, try and create opportunities where Gravic in particular is on closeouts, and they should be able to exploit them exactly as they just did. The trouble is down the other end. They're going to have to box out so hard to try and look after things on the glass. The last couple of plays, Iverson's looked after it on his own. Abramatis simply they have to make their free throws now. Grabs the rebound, goes right into the heart of the lane, over to Iberostar for three. And Bassis, look at the hustle from both teams. Terrific play. And Iberostar gets the alley. It's an 8-point game. Look at Bassis and Iberostar. And Georgievich does a great job of calling timeout. Tip your heads up to Tenerife.
said right at half-time, they're so resilient as a group. As you see the points, Hunter with his 22 points and leading the scorers for Bologna. They're definitely resilient. And there's been one or two guys just given a little bit more. But when you outwork your opponent, good things happen. Bassas just outworks his opponent, they get it back, they get the two. The possession coming out of the timeout now for Djordjevic is crucial. He's 8 down. He wants a good shot. He doesn't almost have to make it. He wants a shot he wants. And you'd expect, as we see the play,
hustle.
and then great vision by San Miguel. Just looks up. That's where you should look. You look in the right place, you'll see the right thing.
Stay Tony. Stay Tony. Stay Pietro. Stay Amar. If you go here, stay
what you don't want to see Tenerife do here is foul in a bad, up the floor. If they want to go up the floor, that's fine. The trouble if they go up the floor is it will create some broken play opportunities for Hunter, and that's what you don't want to create. You'd like to get Bologna in a half-court set here and force them to make a tough shot.
Close in a long time. 8 points. Now some full-court pressure. Imbai saves it from the out of bounds.
But so far, it's a good option. They've taken, they're down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. They've run nothing yet.
Don't want to foul. And look at Arthur again making these big shots. Timeout now being called by Tenerife.
What a smart play by Aradori, because they're beating the pressure. So they're worried about where do they go to punter, and he gets a layup. And they lay on the help. Great read by Aradori.
Press!
The captain has come
Press,
out and played
good,
well
and
tonight.
after defense switching. Now blue!
He's got 8 points.
Well, Abramat is leading the scorers now for Tenerife. That's all second half stuff for him.
Para Javi en poste
Really
bajo.
has stepped
Tenemos
up in the second half.
Team y Pierre abiertos.
Aradori's
Open, vale. Team y Pierre. Y aquí en el lado balón, David y Rodri. Vale, vamos a jugar. Vamos a jugar 3 abajo. Vale. 3 down. Venga, vamos. Switch, everybody.
Imbai hasn't scored in the second.
No, he has been anonymous in the second half. They haven't found him. They haven't run stuff and found him, which is very unusual given the fact they found him a lot in the first half.
Look at this. Here's another look at Aradori sizing up the situation.
Both San Miguel and Gilles thought about going to help and then looked at each other and thought probably you're doing it. So if someone was going to do it, that normally means no one does it.
Iberostar Tenerife asking for an unsportsmanlike. Wow, he was playing the ball, but it was perhaps
across the body from that side with the right arm. That's been called all year.
That's surely excessive. They're going to look at it, and I would.
That's got to be an unsportsmanlike foul. You can't come from the other side.
I would take a punt on this. It's going to be an unsportsmanlike.
You can't come from the other side. There's no reasonable attempt. You can't do. That's the stuff that they said they would stop, and have called it this way.
Again, this is what they're looking right here.
So he has no opportunity to get the ball.
He's not playing the ball, though. That's the thing.
Not at
He's
all.
playing the arm.
Yeah, he's playing the ball. He's playing the player. Big call for the officials.
They'll get
That's it's an interesting interpretation. It's different than we've seen all year. And this is what happens when you don't make those calls, because people get frustrated, and now they're going to have to call a different situation and a difficult one to resolve because they didn't deal with it in the first instance. And in that scenario, Tony Taylor has no right to be involved. There are already two people in the play. There are already two people in the rebound situations, and he is in the keyway generating a problem.
So now I think they've just called offsetting technical fouls on Javier Bayron and
That'll be Bayron's fourth foul, right?
Tony Taylor.
If you don't deal with a problem in the consistent way, you would then have to try and deal with a situation you had no right to develop. And the point is that there are two defensive players in the lineup, and Taylor's on the inside generating the situation.
So with that altercation, he goes out of the game, so he's even more costly for Pearson's Bologna. They lose the player. But you got to know, I mean, you can't go in like Anthony did and not think that, especially in the situation we're talking, something might not be going. Sneaking in there for the hustle.
Big play by San Miguel. It's a huge play.
Players and ownership over here asking for it to be reviewed. Here it is again. Look at this. 9-point game. Not going to look at it. 3:07 left. Goes hard at Levi, and like you say, he did not run away from the contact that time. Even though he made a pretty decent play defensively, he still got the foul. Good things happen
Yep.
when you attack.
Because it was the third move. He had him and he got him and he got him, and on the third move up, he can go through contact. Has to make a free throw.
2:59 remaining. We're trying to become the first team to win the Basketball Champions League twice. They won it in year one, 19, and Athens won it last year. Here he's trying to become the first Italian. He doesn't make both free throws. It's down to a 7-point game. You don't want to count the back by over the pressure. Looking for a little bit of daylight. He gets it, he puts it up, he misses. Abromaitis now with White. A real chance here for Iberostar Tenerife. Dangerous pass with them by so close. Somebody's going to have to hit a shot. Is it going to be White? Back to San Miguel. Bayron's open. Oh, wow. Oh, it's a foul. Look at this. That's a tough ball.
Correa left his arm in, and they're going to call San Miguel for hooking his arm that was left in. And then the technical foul too.
With 19 remaining, and Pearson's now go from potentially losing their 7-point lead to now possibly opening up 8, even more. Beat the road at 10 or 11 points.
Wide open and then decides to come out.
It's going to be White, and this is battle for Bayron there. 65-59, it's a 6-point game. Where there's hope, there's life. Iberostar Tenerife. Whips it over to Mbaye. 13 on the shot clock, 1:24 to go now. Just missed from the right corner. Here he goes, almost turned it over. Makes a big shot in the lane. It's been so important today. I mean, he's almost been their MVP.
Huge. In so many different categories. Punter had that hot start, has made shots. Chalmers has done a little bit of everything and then makes a great decision at a key moment. Gets it deep. No one wants to foul him. Gets set. Knocks it down.
Well, if you're Tenerife, you try to pressure as they did. And right now, even with Tony Taylor out of the game, they've got Chalmers out there making plays. Punchers able to bring the ball up the floor. It's very difficult for Tenerife.
Okay,
Trailing by 8.
we shot. Okay.
Well, we talked about
Sacamos
in the semi-final in particular, Bologna's ability to take care of the basketball. They're one of the most efficient teams in terms of getting shots and not turning the ball over. In terms of the rebound battle, Tenerife have really winning that, but they missed a lot of shots. They've had more opportunities to rebound, but they're going to have to get something good out of bounds in minute 13. They're going to have to get something out of the out-of-bounds play. It doesn't take time. Coach Villarreal has lots of options, but the trouble is coming down the other way. This Bologna team taking care of the ball. The one thing they haven't done well, though, Jeff, is shoot the free throw that well. So, going after it and forcing them to make free throws could be one of their best ways to get back in this. But I think they need to score quick on this out of bounds. If they don't get something quick, see Bayran get it back as the person bringing it in.
He saved it. Gillet left open for 3. It's out.
They're not going to get a better look on him. Gillet's wide open.
And it's actually inside the cylinder. It just doesn't go down. And they have to foul Puncher at the end. So we've seen Iberostar Tenerife win it in year 1. We've seen Mike win it in year 2. And now we see Segafredo, Virtus Bologna closing in on their first title. Of course, Kevin Punter closing in on his second consecutive basketball Champions League crown. He won it with Mike last year. And I think it's probably safe to say he's going to be the MVP. I would be awfully surprised.
The way they pick MVPs, definitely. Chalmers is right up there, though, in terms of impact on the game.
Iberostar Tenerife has to hurry. Bassis has it. Puts it up, and again goes in and out, front back of the rim. not going to rest easy until this is over. You can see they're all right beside us. So White, he's got to put it up quickly. Chile, again, misses. Abromaitis scraps, gets the rebound.
Oh, he has to
Made that.
Yeah.
Would have had it in one play.
That's not an offensive foul either. He didn't swing him, he just protected it.
Abromaitis has made 25 plus 26. Basketball team, 96%. It's automatic. Sammy Bell's foul line in fact last foul. Back. An 8-point game, 39.2 seconds to go. Almost. And by then goes in. And that might have just done it. 10 points to lead. Bastos loses it. Bunker has it. He's off to the races once again. Lays it up and in. Here's this begin to celebrate. This is going to be their title. Georgievich looks over at Balsas. This is what you brought me here for, to get you to the finish line. 21.2 seconds to go. Meltdown.
I think it's really apt, isn't it? They literally iced the game with a defensive play and a breakaway out of their defense. That's what got them to this position.
Vamos.
We're right next to these guys. These guys are already partying. They're like, they are
Talk about
the owners.
front office.
Yeah.
Poco dos. Poco dos para
But
ti.
it's saying how well they played. You're going to look at that three-point stat
quiero.
number for Tenerife and go,
El bloqueo de Pierre y de Tim.
we said a couple of times we didn't see that. I didn't see that number at all.
Para Tim. A ver si tenemos el triple.
Hunter had to be their leading
Y si
scorer
no,
because he's the guy that will score in
Diego.
points.
Para
He's
Pierre.
had a lot of help from people like Mbai in
A
particular.
ver. Vamos.
Inches away from a steal that could have brought him in, and Mbai finished as a play.
Iberostar Tenerife get it to Abromaitis. Back to White for three, short. They just haven't fallen all day. They continue to stay out. Now Hunter goes basically on his last moments. We're looking at the first player to win 2 basketball Champions League titles. It's been a tough run for him. But he's done it. And Virtus Bologna prevail. 73-61 for Iberostar Tenerife. They clinch a major trophy. This in what has been a very difficult season for the club. They are overjoyed. Okay, maybe some contentious moments in this game. That's going to happen in every game. But you got to tip your hat to that man and his players because, as you said earlier, Mark, this team was on point. They knew what they had to do to establish the rhythm of the game. They had to come in and really just be physical, try to really make themselves pass defensively, and it really took this team, Iberostar Tenerife, as I said again, almost a half to get through to them.
And that's where they'll sit down and they'll be very disappointed, as you can see. But that's 2 games back-to-back. Georgievich put a game plan on the floor. And even when they started to struggle a bit, the game was so disjointed that their defense always kept them and kept that little separation. And Yeah, there were some contentious moments all round, but at the end of the day, Bologna showed up with a game plan that was successful. They dominated from the defensive end. You can't say anything about Kevin Punter. He came here on the back of some poor performances and just lit it up Friday, and he lit it up in the big game. Big game, and as Djordjevic said, right in the pre-game that you had the chance to look at, great game, great people. He's got some great people. They're really worthy winners. It's a tremendous performance by a club with so much tradition and history. Looks like good times are back for Bologna.
Well, the numbers, threes especially, 7 of 16. Well, in the end, 5, but 37 attempts for Tenerife. They just simply couldn't knock them down overall.
There's a line, Jeff, isn't there? If you go 5 for 37, why are you taking 37? But that's how they play. That's the way they play. And they couldn't. And many of them were open looks. Abramatis had a great second half. You've got to take your hat off to him because he struggled like crazy in the first half to be a factor, and then ends up leading the scorers. And you mentioned Aradori. All sorts of people make contributions. Aradori, as you said in commentary, is much maligned in many ways for his defense. For this, he came up with points across and stats across the whole stat line. And who did Djordjevic go to when to close out the game? Aradori's in there because he needs that personality and character. But I agree with you as well. Punter will probably be the MVP, but Chalmers was superb, absolutely superb.
Yeah, I think when they brought Chalmers here, I'm not sure exactly what they envisioned, but what he gave them today was worth the signing.
Yeah, absolutely.
He had a certain toughness that embodied this whole effort today. Kravitz, I thought, was outstanding in both games. Made very impactful. Mbai was terrific in the first half tonight. And disappointment for Iberostar Tenerife, especially after a season when they have won so many games. 12 in the regular season. And then they just had those 2 brilliant performances.
Yep.
In the round of 16, followed by the quarterfinals. Knockout, couple of recently.
Yep.
Everybody thought they would win, but you know, the one thing you got to say about Virtus is it's not been easy. They won their first 7 games, but they were tough. You know what? They lost a few games. They hit a rumble. They made a coaching change, but somehow they were able to stay the course. They lost that first leg at Inter in the quarterfinals by 8 points, but they were home to win.
You know, Jeff, the thing that I think about all these teams is that players have to understand their roles. And at this level, everyone comes in to these teams as good, very good, high-level players. But your role on the team is what it is. So Morea, what does he do? He plays around the ring. I think in the whole game, only took 1 mid-range jump shot. The rest of the time, he's competing around the ring. He's playing defense. It's Punter's role to score. That's fine. And they got Aradori's role to do what. The thing about these, and you mentioned Kravitz, his job is to be big and do what he's supposed to do, set screens. Everybody performs a role. And a much maligned phrase, everybody's a role player. Even if Punter is a star and he has to be the role player of being a star. And that's what they did. To me, that everyone did what they were supposed to do, what they were brought here to do. No one tried to get outside their own space.
Well, both teams will be recognized here. Quite anticipated how difficult Virtus is going to play defensively, especially. And also, you got to admit, Virtus made it a lot easier for themselves having that strong start offensively in the first half. By
Well, 4 from 5 from the 3-point line, and only one of them was open, Jeff. Everything else was under so much pressure. So Punter did what he was brought there to do, lead them and score. Back-to-back basketball Champions Leagues for him. And as I keep saying, Chalmers was just superb in all sorts of, all across the stat line, tremendous performance.
So the trophy now, the Covenant Basketball Champions League trophy at mid-court. Players will be lining up to get their medals, first and second place medals, and also obviously the MVP is going to be named.
Please welcome the referees of the final. You are the wrestle for cross.
Referees.
Georgios Musaidis from Greece. Admir Zuranovic from Bosnia-Herzegovina. Thank you so much to the referees. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to present the silver medals, please welcome Antonio Martin, President of the Spanish Basketball League, and Manuel Gomez Padilla, Vice President of the Spanish Basketball Federation. Also, we are happy to welcome Kamil Novak, member of the BCL board, and Serlen Sekur, also member of the BCL board.
Well,
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please welcome the runners-up of the Basketball Champions League Final Four, silver medalist, Iberostar Tenerife.
way too early after the day. They need to hold their heads high and realize they're about to be able to pursue. I think everybody knows they've watched them play. Again, you know, they look at things the whole life day. Later on in life, don't remember that period of defense was just terrific.
It was exceptional in the first half, and they didn't. I can't really understand. The one thing is that they weren't expecting them to play like that. They almost got shocked in the fact that they were so intense and they were so in the passing lane. Because they know how well these guys prepare, even though they have a day, they've talked it through. But Jeff, they just didn't make shots. I mean, it was great defense that pushed them under pressure to miss those, but they just didn't make enough shots. And in the cold-blooded day, they win the first one. They do well in the second version of it, get into the postseason, and then they come runners-up into the first 3 years. They're creating a bit of a legacy for themselves as a major team in the Basketball Champions League.
Okay, we've had the privilege and joy, really, of covering all 3 seasons of Basketball Champions League. I think probably this season is the most competitive.
Yeah.
And you would expect this competition to keep getting bigger, better, stronger.
I think absolutely, and I think the other thing that it shows this year is that by qualifying to play, you've got a chance to go all the way and win. So like Antwerp's going to raise the aspiration level of teams in all the leagues that are part of this competition. But if you're going to be a major player, you've got to be on a major team. And, you know, history of Bologna says they're a European winning team, so it's great that they're back at the top table.
As Thomas Spiegel, Union president, Belgium, I'll go ahead and say legend, he's a great guy. I had a chance to get to know him when he was a player. And played for the national team. He's going to be recognizing the MVP. Here it is, no surprise. Everyone, the MVP award handed by Thomas Spiegel. I dare say if Connor had ever played against Van Spiegel, he might have had some good shot block. He had jumping jack legs, Thomas Van Spiegel.
I think that these highlights of him scoring, especially in the first part of the game, I mean, look, at the end of the day, that was the only open one he made. The rest were all under with hands all over it. You know, Iverson did everything he could, flashes out, gets his hand up, it's going down. players that's going to take this program forward. As he gets older and more experienced, they're going to retain guys like of his level.
I love the fire of Martin.
Yeah.
Went through the street. Chalmers, we've talked about him a lot. Bologna, they go to international. Him by the France International. Taylor, yeah, he's a fiery player, isn't he? Never touched him. Won it last year with White as well. Let's see. Ravic. I feel like Ravic doesn't get enough credit. I mean, he's been really good this weekend.
And it's one of those scenarios, isn't it? Like, he doesn't do any of those things that are above the ring and all that. He just works hard, he rebounds, he plays defense.
It's like second effort points. David Corno as well has got his. Ryan Qualley, we didn't get to see him. He's had a lot of injuries this season. He was a big part of the success.
Oh, his numbers in the number across the season to 8 and 8 is a real contributor.
Pietro Auditore. So it's been 10 years since they've won the title, Euro Challenge title at home. Remember when they beat that very good Cholet? They beat Nando Colo Cholet team. And Rodrigo Bois as well was on that team. That was a very good Beersheba team. This one is a very good Beersheba team.
Number of times you see it, Jeff, the teams of history that have been in finals before, when they go to a final, they're not there for their mold, they're there to win because they're used to winning in these. And even the feel around the club and the organization are expecting to win. And so there's a different expectation.
I mean, not to put a dampener on it for them, but, you know, they're not going to be going to the playoffs. So this was it. They had to win this. And it seems like they channeled all of their energy, their focus, their passion into this weekend. And just, they were willing to die for this trophy, really. That's what it looked like to me. They were just Patrick Cominos, the CEO of the Basketball Champions League, is going to present the trophy. Sleeping in different beds, and not doing well all the time, but you got to find your way and win a title. It makes it all worthwhile.
And that's the thing, there's only going to be one group of guys celebrating in that way. Everyone else goes back to work to try and get that moment. And it's a grind, yeah, it's a great experience. Who wouldn't take that sort of experience? But it is a hard grind across the season. Their pre-season would have been August. You know, their pre-season would have been August. So from August all the way through, as you say, 2 a days. They put the hard yards in when it comes to the strength and conditioning, etc. And they need big-time support staff too. You know, there's guys making sure these guys can go to practice every day.
What has been your highlight? Man, I guess you have like a lot of highlights from this season.
From the Champions League season, I think Antwerp's run is a highlight in itself. The job that when the team was going 7-7, that's a great highlight.
Let's give a shout out to Ostend, who didn't make the playoffs too, for Belgium. They were terrific.
But Ostend have been terrific for a while. Now you would hope, and they've fallen in like the last game, so they don't make the postseason. You would hope them looking at Antwerp making it is going to inspire them to put 2 Belgian teams in that scenario. And the impact that can have for a country's basketball is phenomenal. You know, look at the impact of this facility here. You know, this facility here is full of people, and it's on live TV across Belgium on the free-to-air broadcaster. So this is going to have a big impact on the basketball. Champions League can do that because of the way you qualify for it. Everyone has the opportunity to be there. And now maybe the other highlight thing for really is that I think there's been a number of young players that have really announced themselves on the European stage. Obviously, Bacco for Antwerp being one, but there's a number. And the Basketball Champions League has been a great opportunity for them. What about yourself, Jeff? Every week we watch these games and we go, "That's a great game. It's a great game."
Yeah, there's so many great highlights. Whether it's regular season, I suppose it was the win at night. I thought that was sensational, but I guess really the highlight for me has been coming to Antwerp. And, you know, the beauty of going to a Final Four is that you go to a different city, and every time, you know, we've been to Tenerife, Santa Cruz, we've been to off the court standpoint, weekend standpoint, whatever. I mean, I know we've been telling people this, but you need to get to Belgium and you need to download this because this is a great part of the world. Watching Kevin Hunter play has been pretty cool this week. And also, admittedly, watching Djordjevic turn his team into a championship caliber team over a weekend has been pretty exciting as well. He's had them focused.
And I think that's a real highlight in terms of the way you see a coach put something on the floor, Jeff. And every player has to like swallow a little bit of their ego and give it up for the team. He's managed to get guys to do that with big profiles on a big team. And I think they worked it out. Maybe we did make the playoffs in Italy. Well, maybe we do need Coach Djordjevic to set the tone. And they responded. It'll be interesting to see how Bologna build from this. Because in the past, they've always, once they're built, they have a tradition. And their local rivals are back in Division 1 in Italy next year. So both basketball in Bologna is going to be huge.
More than anything, I guess it's exciting as well to see Europe back on top.
Yeah.
I think European basketball needs this team with such a
Poco cinco para David. Poco cinco for David.
I don't have any favorites. I don't come from this part of the world, so I don't care who wins. But I do know, even before I arrived in back in '96, I knew that it was right about that time that they started racking up European titles. They had the 15 European titles. Yeah, it's been a lot for that club to come out and get a title.
It's been a big year for Italy, Jeff, as well, hasn't it? Because Cesare have done well and won their competition. These guys have won. The Italian national team has looked good in the World Cup. Maybe Italian basketball is back where it used to be, one of the major powers.
Basketball Champions League. Next week, they have 4 away. Be sure that you're there.
Congratulations, Kevin. It was a great game today. Can you tell us why Bologna played so well? Why?
Say that again.
It was a great game today. You had a great game. What was it that was the key to the victory?
Just staying together. We worked so hard all year since August. You know, all the ups and downs we went through for times like this.
The game today, you guys came out strong from the very start. You never let Tenerife in. What were the keys that the coach said to you at halftime?
Just keep the intensity up. Keep fighting, keep the intensity high, and stick to what we do.
And how happy are you with your performance?
Speechless. I can't really. I'm just so happy we won. Happy I was able to help my team do the best I could do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Not the result that you would have hoped for. What went wrong today?
I mean, we couldn't make any shots in that first half. 1 for 16 or whatever it was from 3-point. But they played great defense. They're a really good team. They deserve this win, and congratulations to them.